Good morning. It's Bonnie, and I'm back. So I thought this morning I would make some donut bread pudding. And how this came about was I don't like to waste. And I think I told you that I do a lot of videos with my daughter on our other channel, which I'm going to put down in the description. So if you'd like to see the finished product and us actually devouring it, that'll be later this evening. We'll be doing a live mukbang, and that will be part of it. So how the donut part of this came to be for today was we did 2 days ago, we did the trending thing on my daughter's channel where the car ahead of you orders at a drive-through, and you just have to say, hi, I want the exact same order as the car ahead of me. Well, we ended up with, if you ever go and watch that one, you'll see we ended up with 24 donuts and this big colorful culotta of some sort. It was what was it called? A cosmic culotta. It was really kind of funny. So we kind of giggled, and you have to follow the rules, and so we got these 24 donuts. Well, we're not going to eat 24 donuts, and I didn't know anybody to give them to, so they were sitting in the fridge here, and I said, let's not let them waste. My father was really good at this. Is just something he taught me, ways to keep things from going bad and to simplifying things, and he had a real knack for it. And so I like to think he taught me how to do this, where you just kind of put things together and it comes out fabulous. So I just want to show you kind of how you can do that. So this morning I'm just using things I already had. So I'm going to use the donuts instead of bread. If I was making a real bread pudding, which I can do very well and enjoy making, and if anybody wants me to do that sometime, I'd be happy to do that as well. I would be using more, fruits and nuts and raisins, that more of a traditional thing. So today's going to be a real simple, easy thing because it's already loaded with flavors and sugar in these donuts. So I won't be needing to add, the vanillas and sugar and things that you would normally add. Bread pudding's really easy to make, and it's great if you've got some stale bread around. So let's get to it. All right. So first, I had my daughter go through the donuts that were left and pick out the ones that she thought she might still eat. And so I'm going to use what was kind of left out of the choice. And so I'm using 2, 4, 6, 7 donuts. I've got 2, I think they're that caramely kind of thing that frosted that is kind of trending as well. There's 2 strawberry frosted sprinkle donuts. There's a chocolate frosted, and there's 2, I think they're Boston cream. So that should really make, for an interesting flavor. So I'm going to start with, all you need is, a bowl to put your pieces in. I'm kind of skipping some steps only because I'm using already, the donuts. So I'm going to preheat the oven. Always check, make sure there's nothing in it. And I'm going to preheat the oven to 350. So that way it'll be nice and toasty and ready when this is ready to go in. So we'll start by just kind of cubing up these donuts, cutting it up to pieces. Could get sticky and messy. It's going to be fun. It's going to come out good, though. I'm pretty sure of it. I'm going to just throw these in this bowl. So, if anybody joins in, feel free to, speak up. I'm here to also talk. So my father was actually in the military, and my father was actually of Scottish descent. And you know what they say about Scottish people, they don't like to waste, a little more on the frugal side, but he wasn't cheap, but he didn't like to see things wasted either. So, he would do this with soups and breads and all kinds of stuff. And, I have a few friends that just, I think, naturally have that knack. They can open up a refrigerator and anybody else opens it and looks in there and says, what? You need to get to the market. And, they can look in it and say, Are you kidding me? You've got a gourmet meal here. So it's a real interesting thing. There's nothing gourmet about this, but it's going to come out really, really good, I think. As I'm filling the bowl here, I'm trying to decide how many of these donuts I really need to cut up. So I think I'm just going to make, because no need to make this and then waste that too. So I don't want to make it huge. This actually, I mean, you could do this as a real fun, party thing, but you'd obviously select the donuts that you wanted. But they work better if they are a little bit stale. So that's good. These are still a little on the doughier side just because they're donuts, not bread. So I think I'll do a Boston cream next. And doesn't look like there's much cream in them though. They look just kind of cakey. I'm not sure whether this one missed the filling part, but maybe I just didn't cut into it yet. So this will give it a little bit of oh, there's the cream. There we go. I knew there would be cream in there. This will, give it a real interesting flavor. Be fun. Of course, it'll be a recipe that you can never duplicate exactly again. So maybe I'll put another one of those Boston creams in there. This one's a little softer. Not sure why, but it had more cream in it. So just bear with me for one more minute while I dice these up. And, feel free, if you have any comments or questions, to chime in. So my father was in the military, and I'm one of 4 children. I have 2 older sisters and a younger brother. And we used to love when Daddy was coming back because, no offense, Mom, if you watch this, she couldn't cook. And thank goodness for, my grandmother when she'd come to visit, or my father, because he was great. And I think he actually told me that his mother taught him a lot of his cooking skills. And so, like I said, my father was in the Navy. And shout out to all the men in the military out there. Thank you so much for your service. I think that might be enough. I think I'm just going to use 6 donuts because this could get a little out of hand here. So now I'm real chocolated up. Just going to do a quick wash. Get some of this chocolate off. So I'm going to set that bowl of all the cut-ups off to the side. So now we're done with our slicing and dicing portion. All right. So let's get this mess over here. So next, we're going to get our bowl, and typically you want it to be a real custardy like that you'd add to this. So typically I would add, depending of course on the size, I would add 3 eggs, and then I would add 3 additional 3 egg yolks to give it a little more custard to it. Instead of, like 6 eggs, you would use that. Now, I think if you had seen on the other one, we also have a home up north. The home up north is actually a farm. And on the farm, a lot of our eggs lay double yolks. And so those are perfect for this, with the double yolks. But I'm going to start with the 3 regular. They call these extra large eggs, but, they don't look like it. And maybe I'm a little critical because having those farm fresh eggs up north, I know what real extra large eggs are. And I'm looking forward to actually doing some cooking up there in another few weeks when I head north. And I want to do some recipes. Also, we do have ducks too. So doing some recipes with some of the duck eggs too should be fun. So I think I'll do 4 regular eggs. And then I think the other 2, I think I'll just do the yolks. Normally I wouldn't do quite that portion. I would do, all double yolks if I was up there. Down here, if I was doing a regular bread pudding, I'd probably use, like I said, 3 yolks and 1 yolk. I'm just separating out the whites here from the yolks. So far, I'm doing a pretty good job. Come on. Come on. I think my refrigerator down here, it's getting really warm, so I've been keeping the refrigerator really a little colder than normal. So I think these eggs might be getting a little thicker, a little on the real cold side. Not frozen, but okay. So we've got the other yolk. Here we go. Perfect. So next I'm gonna just kind of scramble these up. These eggs. This would be like, make it kind of custardy. And that bread cut up, the donuts really smell sweet already, real sweet. This one, you're not even going to need to make a frosting or a glaze for at all. So then next, I'm going to add whole cream to it, a heavy cream. And I think I'm going to add, normally I don't measure it out, but just so that you have an idea of, for measurement, usually I just do it by eye. But I'm thinking it's probably going to take maybe a cup or so. Let's see how it looks once I mix it in with the eggs. Just mixing together the heavy cream in with the eggs. It's a nice consistency. And I don't normally have whole milk on hand unless I'm planning, a recipe that I'm going to use whole milk for. I typically drink 1% or 2%, so I have 2% milk. So I'm just going to add a little bit, maybe about maybe a half a cup of the 2% milk too. And like I said, if this was just a plain bread, I'd be adding all kinds of, cinnamon and so forth to it. But with this having so many wonderful sweet Dunkin' Donuts flavors, there really isn't a need to do that. So I selected a bowl that's barely holding this. So I'm being real gentle with my stir and mix. So I don't want to be a sloppy cook. Nobody here to clean it up but me. Okay. So next, we're going to take the cut up donuts, and we're going to pour right over the top of it this mixture that we've made with the cream, the milk, and the eggs. Normally, you'd mix all your spices and everything into this. Okay. So I think portion-wise, this is just about right. We want that that's going to be like the custard kind of portion to keep it nice and moist and make it a pudding. I don't know why they call it a pudding. I would call it more of a custard, but you got to call it a pudding, otherwise nobody knows what you're talking about. So now I'm going to, let's see if you can see me a little better if I tip it down. So I'm going to mash the donuts down into the custard a little bit. just because I want them all down in there and to soak in soak into the bread, into the donuts, the custard. So I want to let that soak probably for about, well, I don't know with these how long it's going to take. It could take maybe 10 minutes or so to soak in somewhat. I don't have a large kitchen here. It's here in Florida. So I've got it all kind of mashed down. It's soaking in actually pretty well. This is going to be yummy. And so then for that, it's probably going to be about this size pan. You can use a regular pan, a disposable pan, whatever works for you. But you want to give it either butter it or your pan or grease it. I'm kind of a fan of these sprays. It makes it real quick and easy. So I'm gonna just do a quick spray on the pan, but I'm gonna give it a good spray because you don't want it to stick. There we go. And the oven's beeping, telling us as soon as this is ready to go in, it's ready and waiting for us. Oh, I think I told you I love coffee. I can drink coffee any time of day. Love coffee. And one of my favorite things to put in my coffee, I use this. This isn't a shout out to the company, but I absolutely love this hazelnut creamer. It's just makes coffee taste like dessert all day long. So this is soaking in nicely. And you can do this in a metal pan. You can cook it in a glass pan, whatever's easiest for you. But you wouldn't want to cook it right from here because this bowl is oven safe, but it hasn't been buttered or anything, so it would really be really stuck to it pretty good when you go to try to take it out. And I'm not sure in the mukbang tonight whether this is going to be served with ice cream or whipped cream yet. Not like it needs anything to sweeten it up. So now I'm going to just pour this into the pan. This is going to be good. You guys will have to definitely tune in later and watch this in the mukbang. I know it's going to be good. So then you want to kind of even it out in the pan so that it will cook evenly. And you can just do that with a spatula or a spoon, whatever you have handy. It's a good way to use up any type of leftovers, and people think that you're so clever and went out of your way to do something. And okay. You don't want to cook this on too high of a heat. I would say 350 is pretty much the max, and that's what I have it at. You don't want it to cook too fast because it is a custard, and so you want it to cook. And I usually use like a middle rack in the oven for this. So I'm going to stick this in the oven, and it's not way too high up. I don't know if you can see it very well, but it's ready to go in. So it's low enough that it's not going to cook over. If you're concerned that it's going to cook over, sometimes if you make a pie or something, it'll cook over and make a terrible mess in your oven. I always then put it on like a cookie sheet. And if I was doing that on a larger pan too, I think I would have anyway, just because it's kind of heavy. So it's a bigger pan. Sometimes those tin pans, if it's heavy, it's kind of out of balance. So that's going to take about a half an hour to cook. So I just guess nobody's here joining me today, so there's no questions. But I'm going to load this up after I'm done with this live. And I'll add into the description the link for my daughter's channel, so you can come and watch and see the end product. It is, her name is Megan, and the name of the channel is Megan Sullivan. It's youtube.com, Megan Sullivan X, but I'll put that in the description. And thank you so much for joining me Sunday morning and using up some leftover. And when you watch this, please go into the comments and let me know what time's good to come on and what you want to see me do next. Have a great day. Thanks.